Hi Nicole, this is Nori. We are doing a video, if I can hold it still, here for Amanda on what she's been doing since she started her internship here. And she has a lot of stories to tell you and a lot of things to share. Okay, go Amanda.
So basically in this first month, I have been attending a lot of meetings, and I recently recorded a Teach Me in 3 video for milking goats that we are going to have a Teach Me in 3 competition and have 4-H members create a video of something that's 3 minutes, or teach somebody how to do something in 3 minutes or less. And I created an example video on how to milk goats, and we've also been working with Z Suites a little bit.
Z Suites is our 4-H online record bookkeeping system. It's brand new, so
yeah.
Amanda is teaching people how to start.
Yes, that's what I will be doing in the next month. I will be attending some club meetings and going through it with them. As well as finishing up my Teach Me in 3 video.
So Amanda is learning a lot about how people deal with change and how people react differently to the same thing. We have been attending a lot of meetings since we moved into phase 2. The first week we had one every night. And so I'll have her share a little bit about that.
They're not very keen to change in the Flathead Valley. The adult leaders have tried to control a lot of things. Like, for example, Nori canceled 4-H camp because of COVID-19, and they don't want 4-H camp canceled, and they were complaining about that and trying to get it back on. But it's just not doable this year because of COVID-19, especially an overnight camp. And there's supposed to be a buyer's breakfast that 4-H puts on every year at the fair, and the FFA does the luncheon for buyers. And we're not supposed to be doing a buyer's breakfast this year, and we've been told not to, but we are still going ahead, and the leaders are trying to still have a buyer's breakfast this year, even though they have been told not to.
The 4-H guidelines say no meal should be served at any 4-H event, and that's our 4-H guidelines. Unfortunately, the county health department does not say that, and so they went to the county health department. The county health department said, here are the governor's requirements, and so we're getting in a little interesting conversations about that and who should be right and who's not. So we're learning how to compromise, and Amanda's getting a lesson I would have never thought an intern would be getting.
Yes.
So what do you think about the meetings, Amanda?
Well, they're definitely, some of them are very, most of the meetings there's been a lot of discussion. I wouldn't necessarily call it bickering, but a lot of different ideas of what people want and what we should be doing. And so that's been interesting. But 2 of the meetings that we've been to have been, everyone's been on the same page and has been very understanding of the COVID-19 rules and regulations and this new way of living.
And one of those meetings was our shooting sports leaders, and they're very familiar with risk management, and they totally understand that. And the other meeting that she's referring to is our market livestock sale committee, which is made up of FFA advisors and the Chamber of Commerce people as well, who have been dealing with this on a business level, so they understand as well too. The main dissension is coming from our 4-H leaders, who want the kids to have, quote, a semblance of normal in this time, unquote, which is difficult for us to provide in the way we should be doing it through MSU guidelines, which you're well aware of. So anyway, she's had some interesting conversations.
Yes, the shooting sports meeting, they brought up how to safely handle guns with the COVID-19, and how they would go about sanitizing the guns and social distancing, whereas I think that's probably the only meeting. I don't even think that was brought up at the that one with the Chamber of Commerce.
No, because they're leaving that to our fairgrounds manager to determine how they're going to social distance. Put it all on his back.
Yeah, so that's the only meeting that I've been to in the last 4 weeks, which has been a very good handful of meetings. That has actually brought up the rules and regulations of COVID-19 and what is expected, and it's actually tried to implement them.
So we have 650 members in the county, Amanda. How many of those members do you think you've seen over the last 4 weeks?
No more than 20.
That's pretty normal in an extension agent job because we work with the adults more than the youth, and a lot of extension agents quit because they want to work with kids. And how many adults have you seen in that same time period?
Well, I've seen a lot of the same adults. At
Good
the
point.
swine clinic that I went to, there was definitely more kids, but reoccurring, I've probably seen the same 10 adults and probably the same 15 or so kids.
And we have 185 volunteer leaders, and yet we work with the same 10 to 15 repeatedly.
Yeah.
A lot of times because they're resistant to what we're trying to do. So, have you enjoyed it? Has it been overwhelming, or?
The meetings haven't been the best part, I guess. They're my least favorite part, actually. I'm not big on meetings in the first place.
Me too.
I don't like sitting around. I like getting up and doing stuff. So meetings are kind of blah. But everything else, for the most part, has been pretty much enjoyable. Yeah, definitely a different perspective than I've ever had before.
So you went to a meeting with your former leader. How did that go?
That was definitely, Nicole, you would be so proud. I made a chicken pincushion. It's really cute. I'll have to send you a picture. It was definitely interesting seeing. I never took any quilting classes with her or sewing courses with her when I was in 4-H. In retrospect, I should have, because I enjoy that stuff now. But anyways, the way that she was teaching, the way that she taught me, I was in as a student and not as just an observer. And when I was finishing up my chicken and sewing up his underneath after putting all of the fluff and the rice in the pincushion, she stitched it up for me, and she just showed it to me instead of actually having me do that. And she's a very skilled seamstress. She's been sewing for years and years and years. But I think it would be helpful for her if she would have, because I learn things by doing hands-on, by doing it myself, and I feel like everyone else learns that. Not everyone learns that way, but I feel like that's the best way to teach people, is to have them do it hands-on. And so having her do that for me wasn't very good, because now I don't remember how to do it, and I'm planning on making more of those chicken pincushions with the excess fabric that I have at home.
And it's interesting that she kind of put you into the student role, probably out of just tradition, instead of accepting you as an equal, as an intern. And I didn't go to the meeting with her, and if I had, maybe I could have stepped in there. But very acute observation, because 4-H motto is learn by doing. And so often as adults, we get in a hurry and we want to finish things up and get people moving. And so I'm sure that was part of it. So you went to a 4-H Fun Day, an event organized by a club, and they had turned in information to our office and to the health department as well on what they were doing. How did it go?
For the most part, they did stay in smaller groups. I don't think there was a group over 10. But when it came to mealtime, it was definitely, I helped with mealtime right at the very end. And I was able to pass food to other people, and like pass sour cream and salsas or whatever. And that went well, but everyone was still sitting in a group larger than, 10 or something?
We have groups of 50 is what we have now, but they had said they would do groups of no more than 15 in their plan.
Okay. Yeah, and they did do that for the groups that went off to different, so like one group went over to the maze first, and then another group went to the bumper boats, and then another went to the go-karts, and then another went to the mini golf. And so it was in that respect, but when we all sat down to eat, we all sat down together, basically, to eat. And it was hard to practice for them, I think, because there's a bunch of kids there, so they didn't social distance at all. And yeah, it just, they could have made better. I feel like the kids are like, oh, this is just stupid, this whole COVID-19. And they don't understand the impacts that it can have.
Do you think that attitude may have came from the leaders involved in that particular activity?
Yes, in some ways I do. I've never actually heard Kelly Sue's opinion on it. There's other people who I've heard, like the council has definitely stated their opinion on what they want, and basically screw the COVID-19 rules and And so, but I definitely think a lot of it was because of that, and the adults weren't trying to enforce the social distancing, and no one was wearing masks either, so there was that too.
Great observations. So we have a busy next month coming up, and we'll be doing some more educational things and getting ready for fair, whatever it brings. So, any other words, Amanda?
I hope fair continues, because that's the biggest part of my internship, and even if they still decide to have it at the fairgrounds, even if it's not exactly how it usually is normally, then that's okay. That's the biggest part of my internship, and that's the part I've been looking forward to most about my internship is Fair Week. So
Amanda's done an excellent job in being flexible and listening and observing, and the things she brings back to me when we visit after meetings have been very well made, and she's taking a definite adult look at things and a very professional viewpoint of things. So I've been very pleased, Nicole. And if you have anything you need us to do or work on, please let me know. And otherwise, anything else, Amanda?
Not that I can think of off the top of my head. If you have any questions for me, Nicole, just shoot me an email and I will do my best to answer them.
Well, we'll keep this under 12 minutes then, but we've had fun doing it. So thanks, Nicole.
Thank you, Nicole.